Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. We have one change. 8A purchase offer has been scratched from the agenda. Is there any other changes? Council? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Motion by Joe, second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the September 4th, 2019 regular meeting. You all received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification needed? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the September 4th, 2019 regular meeting as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi,
Second.
second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Call a third time. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Our public open forum is now closed. We have no public hearings. Will then bring us to our reports and presentations. 6A, Police Department Monthly Report. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Activity report for August 2019. Some of the numbers we had for that month, we had 12 alarms. We did 18 assists for people. We did 62 assists for businesses. We did 32 assists for other agencies. We did 7 bar control, crowd control patrols. We had 24 citizen contacts. We had 19 matter of information calls. We had 14 medicals. We found 11 open doors and windows in businesses. We had road hazard, 9 road hazards, and that was from I think it was the Labor Day windstorm that during the night there. So I think we only ended up with a couple big trees that I observed and a lot of branches and lawn chairs and stuff like that. So could have been worse, I guess. 102 Walmart patrols. We had 31 suspicious calls. We had 8 thefts. Let's see. We had 10 welfare checks, and we gave out 325 verbal warnings. We had a total number of calls of 531, so total activity of 856. Compare that to last year, we're like 1 number off of each total, or very close. And then compared to last month, it was pretty equal also. So pretty comparable from July to August. The other thing I wanted to mention, our department purchased a drone to help fight crime and help for criminal apprehension and search and rescue scenarios. And that was spearheaded by Schaefer's Market, by Chris and Lisa Longer, came to approached us and said that they'd like to help us out, and in a matter of a couple of weeks, we had donations from our local businesses in our community that was willing to donate money for this purchase to help us out in our department. And I just want to put a thanks out to all of the businesses in our community that support our law enforcement and allowed us to be able to get a drone. The drone is called a Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. The value is just under $5,000. It has built-in features of dual cameras, one normal camera, one infrared camera for pickup heat signatures. It's capable of taking pictures and video. It has multiple attachments that can be added to the drone. It has a speaker system, spotlight, and strobe light. And of course, it has built-in GPS unit. Our plan is not to interfere with people's, to spy on people or to invade on anyone's privacy. That's not the goal here. It's, like I say, it's for criminal apprehension, and it can be used for search and rescue incidents or scenarios, and I think it'll really come in handy, and I think it'll save lives. So again, I just want to thank the businesses in our community for really getting behind us and helping us out to purchase that.
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
Is it easy to fly, or is it kind of complicated?
It's not too bad. The younger guys know how to, they're better at it than I am. They do more video, I think, than I did, but I'm old school, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get used to watching the screen, and they do a lot of practicing, instead of looking at the drone and watching the screen and getting used to flying it. So yeah, and it has good range, a couple, 2-3 miles, so.
I have a remote-controlled giant helicopter, and it took me a while the first time I hit the button, whew, straight up.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So yeah, they've been out working with it and practicing with it. Yeah, I think it'll be very beneficial.
Good.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
6B, Public Works Department. Ben?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What we've been up to, the flashing crosswalk signs, all 4 signs are now working properly. We did have one that was down up by the dam for 2 weeks. There was a repair that had to be made to the circuit board. Something failed internally, but that was covered under warranty, and we got everything back up and it worked right away, and everything's been working since. We have been planning to clean a couple of storm sewer outlets, but we've had like 7 inches of rain in the last week and a half, so we'll get those cleaned out as soon as it dries up enough for us to do so. We did some asphalt patching today, and we're getting another load tomorrow. The rain has also hindered us a bit in getting that done sooner than we had hoped to, but we're getting after it now that it's drying up. We're also doing some tree trimming and tree removal in areas that are in need of it. We've hauled some class 5 to some streets and some alleyways that needed some holes filled, trying to build those back up and put a crown on them, and we'll get those in shape before winter arrives, which will be here before we know it. We're also getting ready to winterize the sprinkler systems and the park bathrooms and stuff. We'll keep them open for a few more weeks, but we have shut down the sprinkler systems. They won't be needed here for the rest of the fall, and we'll get ready to blow those out. We did close down the splash pad just after Labor Day. I know this past couple days has been pretty warm, but it was very cool before that, and typically doesn't see much use after Labor Day, so we don't keep it running after that point. We're preparing to plant a pollinator mixture of seed on that Indian burial mound north of town by the Main Street apartments. I requested some funds from the Conservation Club, and they were generous enough to donate some money towards that project. So hopefully here next week, we're planning to dig that up and get that planted. So that'll be a nice area up there instead of just having it be long field grass that isn't good for anything. It should look nice. It'll take a good year and a half for it to really come to fruition, but it'll be worth it, I think. The arena was rented out this past weekend, and that's the final rental for the year. Now we're getting ready for the ice to go in, putting boards up, getting everything cleaned up, and getting supplies ordered, and Zamboni looked over and gone through, so we'll be ready for the ice come the 3rd week of October. We installed the new playground equipment at J.C. Park and removed the old wood structure. That went well. We put in some new sand around it, so it's got a good 8 to 12 inches all the way around the playground equipment. We planted 4 new trees up at J.C. Park as well, and we're planning to plant a few more trees this fall, just depending how the budget looks. And we leveled the outdoor skating rink to make the liner installation easier and use less water. It was so out of whack last year. We had a foot of water on one end just to get 4 inches on the other, so that'll help put that in this fall.
Good.
That's everything.
Questions? Comments? On the crosswalk signs, is that standard DOT height or?
Yes,
Okay,
that's the height they
That they
be
recommend.
installed. Yep.
okay, because I had a few people say that when they're in their cars, they can't see them.
Okay.
They're too high. So I don't know if that's just an excuse to,
Seems like it, because that's the standard that they
that's
set out for those.
what I thought, but that's what I was,
Yep.
had people.
And
And I
then-
know that, that's one of the directions we might have to have Brian and the police department jump on a little bit, because the other day I pushed the button to cross that Main Street and I had 3 cars almost run me over anyway, so
I know it.
it's a
And
problem.
the old crosswalk sign is coming down next week is the plan,
Okay,
right up there by the post office. So that was part of the agreement with putting
Okay.
those up with MinDOT.
right. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
6C, Airport Board Report.
So the airport board met in regular session on Wednesday, September 11th. They had a few items on their agenda. They did also receive a public works activity report. And then the engineer reported on the zoning update. We're still waiting for MinDOT Aeronautics to make their comments on it before we can have the public hearing, which will be held here or at the airport. We don't know yet which one. We have one remaining invoice to be received from the airport entrance road project, and that is actually engineering invoice, and then we can file the closeout report on that, and that project will be completed. The runway project, as you know, we had closed and we were waiting for the funding. The funding has been reimbursed to the city now, so we are made whole on that, and so that project has been closed. We did discuss a potential grant application for the main hangar door replacement. We're having some issues with how it works. It's a great big door. It's for the Central Plains hangar. And so we're looking at a way that we can get that door either repaired or replaced. And they are recommending that the airport and the park department jointly purchase some snow removal lawn mowing tractor, and that is on your agenda tonight for discussion. And our hangars are now 100% occupancy. We have them all of them are full. And they have their updated based aircraft report. We have 23 aircraft that are based out of our airport. And they are recommending changes to the fee schedule for hangars, and that'll come to you later in the year with the fee schedule. And do you have any questions? Otherwise, we do have the one action item later on the agenda.
Questions, comments? Okay. Planning Commission report?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have a copy of the agenda from the September 10th meeting. We did hold a public hearing, and we also had 2 appeals. And those are action items a little later on your agenda. Included is a copy of the building permit reports. The month of July, we had a total construction value of $342,000. And July of last year, we had $3.6 million, and I believe at least $2 million of that was for the Felling trailer new office building that was built out there. And in August of this year, we had just over $500,000, and last year in August, about the same $500,000. So are there any questions on the building permits?
Questions? Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Action items. 7A, approve resolution 2019-61, granting the variance. Abel?
So at the Planning Commission meeting on September 10th, the commission, acting as the Board of Adjustment, conducted a public hearing to consider the request of Scott Abel at Abel Chiropractic to deviate from the side yard setback requirement to construct an addition to his office building at 735 Main Street South. The ordinance requirement in the RC zoning district for a side setback is 30 feet. The request is to allow a side setback consistent with the existing building at 21.8 feet, which would allow the construction of the addition directly to the west of the existing building, and that is shown on the certificate of survey that I provided you. The Planning Commission staff report and the variance application are provided in your packet ahead of time, so you had a chance to review that. The Planning Commission recommends that the variance be granted. And then they have the one condition on it, and that is that it's void within 1 year if not acted upon. That's something that's standard out of our ordinance. You will see that in the packet and on the resolution, they do have the findings that they find that it is required a larger setback, and that's one of the reasons than a standard commercial, and that one of the reasons was it's a triangular lot with the steep embankment by the railroad. So those is two of the reasons that they gave to justify the issuance of the variance. So I have in your packet Resolution 2019-61, approving the request for a variance of Scott A. and Sarah M. Abel.
Questions, comments? Everyone understands what the planning commission acted on? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2019-61 granting the variance to?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Diane, second by Joe. Any last minute comments or concerns? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, appeal of planning commission's determination, age of mobile homes.
Also, at the September 10th Planning Commission meeting, the board considered an appeal of the zoning administrator's determination regarding the denial of a request to move a manufactured home into the Sauk Center Mobile Home Park at 324th Street North. The owner of the park, Sean Ferrari, provided information to the city regarding the condition of a 1999 16-by-80 manufactured home that he would like to locate in the city. He requested the city consider the condition of the home rather than the age in making a decision. The city code currently states no manufactured home older than 10 years old may be moved into the city, and that was the basis for the denial by the zoning administrator, which that was upheld by the Planning Commission. Due to the Planning Commission's denial of his request, he's now appealing their decision to the City Council, imploring that they consider the condition rather than the age of the home and allow him to move the home into the city. The homes currently in the park range from 1964 to 1992 models, with the majority of the homes constructed in the 1970s. This home would be an average of 30 years newer than those currently in the park, is constructed to a higher standard with 2x6 walls, a shingle pitch roof, and vinyl siding. So this is his justification for wanting to bring it in. It is the intent of Mr. Ferrari, to continue to upgrade the homes in the park. However, the 10-year-old rule is very restrictive and puts the cost point too high, especially with the newer construction standards of these homes. So he is requesting that we consider that we allow the 1999, which is a 20-year-old manufactured home, into the park.
Questions, comments? One of the things that the planning commission looked at was the reason why they upheld Sarah's decision was the planning commission had first instituted the 10-year-old rule. The council adopted it, and they didn't feel that the planning commission had the right to change the rules without city council approval or wanting to be able to relook at the rules and regulations on this. It wasn't their, they didn't feel that it was their prerogative to be doing, overriding what the council previously that put this in place would.
And I can give you just a little bit of background on how this happened. In 2006, the then owner of the manufactured home park brought in 5 mobile homes that were in the 1970s vintage, so they were already 35 to 40 years old when they brought them in. And in addition to that, a person moved in a used cabin off the lake onto a residential lot. So we had these older homes, and it was really the cabin that now is a house. But yet, how do you work that with the building code when you bring this old cabin in that you're going to try to renovate? And we kind of struggled with how do you bring a used home into the city. And so there was a moratorium for a year. And then in 2007, we adopted this new, what's called a moving ordinance, a moving a home in ordinance. And it incorporated both manufactured homes and houses if they were moved, a used house. And that's where all the condition of the home came into it. We have not had any homes move in accordance with this code since we adopted it in 2007. So I guess it's effective because you can't have one older than that. We had one that was exactly 10 years old come in, but other than that, we haven't had anybody even attempt to bring an older one in. Not to this extent. We've had a couple that have inquired, and then they just didn't pursue it. So what Mr. Ferrari is saying, I have open locations in my park, I want to improve the quality of the housing stock in the park, but he feels the 10 year is too restrictive, and he would like us to go to 20 years. You know, you have the authority to do that, whether it's by considering an update to the code to allow it. Is 20 years the right number of years? Is 25 better? Is 15 better? Do you prefer to have 10? But if you're going to change the code, that's a public hearing because it is a land use, and that's something that would have to be done later.
Questions? Comments?
I guess my thought is, with the newer construction and the age of the things in the park, I think it's worth considering, adjusting the code. Looking at maybe a 20, 25-year range. 'Cause, I think these, that price point would be pretty restrictive, I think, and this is going to upgrade the homes in that park with a newer model. That's my general thought.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think anyone who knows that area or that park, it deserves an upgrade, and if he's trying to actively pursue that.
I would agree with that, although I think the word upgrade is misleading because he's not taking out one of the older ones.
Right.
So he's not really upgrading anything.
He's
just
not
putting in one that
proposing, at
happens
this
to be
point,
newer.
he's not proposing to do it, but I know we have had inquiries about people that are in there that want to bring a newer one in, just not that new. So it does open the door a little bit more for some of them that may want to upgrade. I guess the average quality would go up if you brought some new ones in.
Yes, it would.
One of the things that I thought of is who is going to make the determination that whether it's 20 or 25 years old, that's fine, but is it stable enough? Or who's gonna say it's improving anything?
But we don't have guidelines on
We don't have
what
guidelines.
state it's in,
Right.
nothing, so.
If the roof is caving in on one half, it's still within 20 years. They could bring it in if it makes the move without falling on the ground.
Required inspection as part of the process.
Well, that's one of the questions
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering, that it be inspected
Prior to moving.
prior to moving. That would give them the chance to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly be open to that. If we'd have to
Yeah,
have some
I
sort
agree.
of,
Inspection.
some
type.
sort of inspection criteria.
Right.
I mean, and as far as the ordinance goes, I'd be willing to look at that too, because modern construction might very well be that if you look into it, they are designed to last better, longer, and maybe 10 years is
And even
tighter
if,
than it needs to be now.
and even if the mobile home has that stamp on the side saying that it meets all the certification or whatever, but that still doesn't mean that it's in good shape.
Yep.
Because that's put on when it was new,
So can we make this action this evening without having that specific to him, but are we still wanting to move forward with looking at the ordinance? Is that what you're saying?
So if you're looking for, if you want us to consider reviewing the ordinance, then we would have to have a public hearing at the planning commission level. And then they could change the date, and then he could comply with it if the 20 years works. Your question is, can we just give him the 20 years
Right.
now and do that, or do that?
Yeah.
You guys have the authority to do what you want, but it's really not always a good idea to go against the ordinance. When it says you shouldn't do it, you probably shouldn't do it without looking at the ordinance.
It's kind of going ahead of yourself to
Right,
turn around and
right.
recover your tracks
Yeah.
after
Yep.
you already did it.
No, I agree. If we're going to look at the ordinance, that's fine, but if you decide to go with 20 years and then look at the ordinance, and after looking at it, you say, gee, it should have been 10, well, it's 20 now because you already did it. You're going to,
Yeah,
Right.
I was just looking for clarification
Yep.
on what we were discussing.
So basically, the motion tonight would be to consider the request to allow it, the manufactured home into the park. If we're gonna review it, I think that,
Or you
My
could, or you
opinion.
could table this request
Yeah.
and direct us to conduct a public hearing to consider a change.
okay,
That would be the proper motion, I would think.
Okay. Is that a
I'll
motion?
I'll make the motion that we do it that way. Table this and then have a public hearing.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Diane, second by Joe, to table this action and to direct the planning commission to have a public hearing to look at the language.
Is that proper? Whose public hearing, it would be after they have looked at it?
Well, we'd have a public hearing at the planning commission. I mean, who
Yeah.
would be the what?
Well, I'm assuming that you have a planning commission public hearing
Right.
after you have some idea of what changes you're having the hearing for, or you just?
Right,
have-
we would actually review it, and you guys could submit change. We would look at the year, but then we would also look at, you guys are talking about conditions and how you would look at that and what we would expect. So as a staff level, we would have to come up with some recommendations on what that, to make that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7C, approve resolution 2019-62 approving plans and specs for grass rig platform.
The city council previously authorized the purchase of a chassis for the replacement of the 1990 grass rig for the fire department. The second portion is the purchase of the platform, and that includes a skid which attaches to the chassis, includes the pump, the hoses, the tank, the storage, and those types of equipment. The attached specifications outline the requirements. The council is asked to approve the recommended specifications and authorize the solicitation of quotes or bids for the purchase. So the action requested is to approve Resolution 2019-62, approving the specifications and authorizing solicitation of bids for the purchase of the grass rig platform.
Questions? Concerns? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2019-62, approving specifications and authorizing solicitation of bids for the purchase of a grass rig platform?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7D, approve seasonal camping agreement format and 2020 rate.
With the end of the 2019 camping season, the seasonal campers, they're going to be coming in now with a desire to return in 2020, and they'll be looking to renew their camping agreement. The seasonal camping agreement has been revised and was submitted to the League of Minnesota Cities for legal contract review, and their recommendations have been included in the agreement, and these are really more indemnification type language that the league provided. The format of the agreement has changed, but the substance of the agreement that is recommended by the Park Board, these are the changes that are included are, there's language that the agreement can be terminated by the city for any legal reason, not any reason, but any legal reason. It strengthens the language that renewal isn't automatic and that the city has the right to decline or approve a renewal. It has 2 pets per campsite. It authorizes the use of golf carts. It adds language that we don't provide mowers and tools for their use. It restricts to 2 vehicles per site plus the camping unit. It has a quiet time from 10 to 8. It was 11 to 8, and it adds insurance and indemnification. So all the other language is the same, it's just a little bit different format. And then the second piece to this is the Park Board recommends that the seasonal rate be increased to $2,000. Our 2019 rate was $1,800. This is inclusive of all utilities, including electric. And then I did include Saconac, Shady Rest, Riverside, Midway, Camp Samore, Oak Park, and Broken Arrow, all different surrounding communities that have, all of them are higher than us except for Camp Samore and Long Prairie, which is just north of Long Prairie. And so we're looking to approve the seasonal camping agreement and the $2,000 rate for the 2020 season.
Questions? Comments? The one thing that and this is from years of camping, I think the 10 o'clock quiet time's a little early. I think 11 o'clock is where it should stay. Most of the time it's the
There's still plenty of
There's
campfires
still
going on
plenty
at
of
10, yeah.
campfires going on at 10 o'clock, and sometimes it doesn't even start getting dark until 9:30, and
Yep.
if you're there to look at a fire, 10 o'clock's a little early. But I think from talking to the campground, it's more the seasonals that are causing the noise problems than it is the weekend type people. So I suggest we can leave that at 11 o'clock and not go to the 10 o'clock. But otherwise, everything else, I think, falls into place with what we need to do.
I'll make the motion
Okay,
with the 11 o'clock stipulation on it.
so your motion is to approve the seasonal camping agreement with the quiet time still at 11 o'clock and the $2,000 rate for 2020?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave. Any other concerns or comments?
I guess just a question with the 11 o'clock change, was there any commentary at the park board meeting as far as related to that? Why?
No.
Or is that just
No.
felt? going to 10?
About the
Yeah, going to-
time?
Going to 10 instead of 11, was there?
I think the reason that we had put 10 in there, because that's pretty much what the other ones all have doing that, and then it just kind of gives you the opportunity to go and ask people to quiet down a little bit if they're out of hand, you know, so that's, we can
Yeah.
work with either one.
Yeah, I guess I'm fine with 11, so.
Okay, any other
So-
comments?
So just a generic question then, for everybody who's not seasonal, the rules would be posted?
Yeah, and the rules are posted, and why we put the rules in here is then they'd be the same for everybody.
Right,
So,
so.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the rules are
currently.
posted- The rules are posted, plus they're in the, you know, they're in the brochure and everything, so the same rules would apply across the board.
Okay,
This puts everybody, whether you're a weekender or a seasonal, all in the same.
well, and that's what I want to make sure
Yeah.
it should.
Right, yeah. Okay, any other comments or questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7E, approve step increase, Public Works Supervisor.
So Public Works Supervisor Ben Klink will have been with the city 1 year on October 1st. A review of Ben's work has been performed, and a performance review worksheet was provided to the Personnel Committee for comment, if either of you have any comments on that. There's 6 areas that are reviewed in the performance review: job knowledge, administrative skills, internal relations, external relations, human resources, and problem solving. So as a result, we have a following synopsis that was developed that about Ben. It says, receptive to ideas and implements direction in a timely manner, interacts positively with the public, leads by example, has developed the respect of his coworkers and subordinates, follows through on tasks, promptly responds to inquiries, displays knowledge and an analytical mind for calculations, researches ways to improve processes and improve ways to utilize existing resources, and asks questions. Because of this, Ben has exceeded the benchmarks that were expected to be reached after 1 year of employment, has an overall ranking of superior. So if you have any comments, the Personnel Committee, to add to that, or any of you have any comments to add to that, I will recommend that Ben be advanced to step 3. Now, this is I have to point out to you that Ben started at step 1. He didn't ask to negotiate up. I'm recommending to skip a step.
Comments? Heidi?
I think it's been evident to us, just clearly driving around, the ability to get things done. I haven't heard of many complaints. I think that we've allowed you to be autonomous, and you've clearly demonstrated and told us what you're doing. So I guess I would agree with Vicky's recommendation. I think he's done an excellent job. I don't see personnel relations coming up. I haven't really heard anything. I think it's gone swimmingly.
And as any time I've ever had to call Ben or talk to him about any issues, it's always got an answer. He told me exactly what's going on, and if he didn't know, it wasn't that much longer after I talked to him that I got a phone call back, or he told me about what's
agree.
going to happen or what the plan is.
Yep.
And I'm very impressed. So as far as I'm concerned, skipping a step and going up 2, go to step 3 would be my
Yeah,
recommendation too. So, I don't know if any of you others have had any, if you want to make any comments as far as what you've seen or heard as far as his performance just by driving around and seeing what's happening, go ahead. But otherwise, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we take the recommendation and do the step advancement.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dave, a second by Joe. Now that is to step 3 then?
That would be as recommended,
As
step 3.
recommended. Oh, okay. We have a motion to approve the step advancement to step 3 for Ben Klink effective October 1st, 2019. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7F, approve appointments, winter seasonal employment.
So with the winter season approaching, we are requesting the appointment of our winter seasonal staff. We have 3 to appoint to the arena. Mike Anderson, and he is returning. He would return to step 4. Tom Broman, who worked here this summer, would be coming back for some hours, and he would stay at step 1 till he's been here a year. And Dwayne Vletzko, he would return to step 2 to the arena. And Dennis Christensen to do the outdoor rink, and then he helps out a little bit in the streets, and he is at step 8 already. So because some of the above have very, very limited hours in the arena, we'd like to request that we keep looking for one additional seasonal that can fit into those. So we're not asking for more overall hours, we're just trying to split the hours up. So what we're looking at is to approve the appointments as presented and authorize the advertisement for an additional seasonal employee to work at the arena.
Questions? Concerns? By hiring another, appointing another seasonal, would that help us keep some of our full-time street employees on the street rather than working in the arena?
We try to keep, we have one street person that works up there. He gets transferred up there basically most of the hours in the wintertime. It would keep us from having to put one of the other street guys to go up there to fill in. But Mike Anderson will be able to work very many hours, and then Tom Broman's hours are pretty limited as well. So 2 of these 3 are already really limited. It'll help us from not having to bring one of the street guys up there possibly at an overtime rate.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve the appointments as presented and authorize advertisement for an additional seasonal employee?
motion to approve.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7G, approve resolution 2019-63 authorizing execution of purchase agreement.
So one of the items discussed with MnDOT regarding our 2024 Trunk Highway 71 reconstruction project included the need for stormwater treatment north of the river. A piece of the property is on the market now that would be a viable location. It is listed for $17,500. This is the property directly east of the small mobile home park on First Street. So it's right across from the outdoor rink. The city currently has a storm line that runs diagonally across this property already. The property is a floodplain, so it can't be developed for another purpose without significant filling. And we do have available funds in the Stormwater Utility Fund to purchase the land for this future use. So we wanted to bring this to the City Council to see if you thought it would be a wise idea to purchase this at this time. And I did check with the city engineer to be sure that this property in the floodplain could be used for that use. And it can. You can't fill in the floodplain, but you can take away. So we're looking to approve Resolution 2019-63, authorizing the execution of documents to purchase the property. I did not put a purchase price in there. It has been listed for $17,500. It started There's 2 different properties there. It started total of 30, it went to 25, it went to 24, it went to 20, now it's at 17.5. So I don't know if you're inclined to purchase it, if you want to just purchase it for the 17.5, or if you would prefer to make a different offer.
Comments? Questions? I think this is one of the things that this council's been good at, is looking at our future needs of what possibly is gonna come up as far as construction and the possible use of this property for a holding pond for our storm sewer would cover a lot of our north end problems as far as water coming down and that. So personally, I think the purchase would be good. Price-wise, I'm not certain where we would be on that, if we should offer less.
How long has this been on the market?
Probably 2 years.
Wow.
How long?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, I'm up for, I don't know about the price. It sounds like you can't build on it. It sounds like it has got
No
much
value.
value.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the
Right.
price drop. I think I would certainly support that we would come in with a lower offer.
Right?
I would as well.
Anybody have I'm just gonna throw a number out just to get discussion started. Would 12.5?
I was thinking the exact same
Yep.
number.
12.5
12
be
is-
the offer price
Yep.
and go from there?
What would that be per acre? How is,
It's about 1.2, just almost 1.5 acres, so.
Okay, so, yeah, actually 12.5 is close to 10 per acre. That's not an unreasonable price at all,
Right.
Yeah.
Considering for
Yeah.
land that cannot be
especially if
used
you
for
can't build
anything.
on it, yeah, without considerable work.
And for the numbers that she stated before, where it started at and dropped, they've been dropping that increment or more. And I think we're being more than fair
Yeah.
with that offer.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
So,
I'll make that motion. We approve a resolution to authorize execution of documents to purchase property for $12,500.
okay, we have a motion by Heidi. Do we have a second? Second by Joe. Any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7H, approve resolution 2019-64 authorizing lot split and accepting donation.
So John Felling is the owner of Daybreak Place, Block 4, Lot 1, and that is that large lot on Sinclair Lewis Avenue out east of town. The city has a drainage easement over the west half of the lot, as you can see on the survey. Felling is proposing to donate the easement area to the city. In order to accept the donation, a lot split would need to be approved and a deed prepared for execution. So I do have in front of you Resolution 2019-64 approving the lot split and authorizing the execution of documents to accept the donation. If you recall, this has been in front of you before. The prior owner came to the city offering to sell it to us for $10,000, and the city declined at that time. And so this is just attached to our Morning View Park area, and we would just own the land straight through. There's a drainage easement over it. It doesn't mean that we can't in the future have a trail cross it on the edge to connect to Morning View, so there's more connections. Or we could just leave it as it is. We already do the maintenance of the outlet in there, and then mowing, depending on whoever gets there first mows it. So then it would become our responsibility to mow. So,
Questions? Comments? As I'm looking for a motion to
Okay.
approve resolution 2019-64, approving the lot split and authorizing execution of documents to accept the donation.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Any other comments or concerns?
Did you say this abuts the park that's there now?
yes,
Okay.
where it says 20285 there, that line, that's the abutment of the park.
Okay.
Any other questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7I, approve resolution 2019-65, authorizing execution of mutual aid agreements.
At the September 4th council meeting, Chief Fredericks noted that the mutual aid agreements with Stearns County were up for renewal, so that all jurisdictions have the same agreement. They are attached for review and approval. They've been through Stearns County, they've been through legal for all the different agencies, and now we're ready for execution for the Stearns Intra-County Mutual Aid Agreement for Emergency Management and Homeland Security. And basically what this is we can all assist each other throughout the county, and it just lays out who's responsible for what. And the most important part is your employees, you know, when they're on a mutual aid call, who's workers' comp, who's in charge, and those types of things. So all the counties are in agreement on this. They will all be signing off on it. And we are requesting Resolution 2019-65, authorizing the execution of those agreements and entering into them.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve the mutual aid agreements?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joel. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7J, approve resolution 2019-66 declaring property excess. That's playground equipment.
As you know, Public Works has completed the removal of the wooden play structure at J.C. Park and the installation of the new structure, and we'd like to offer that wood structure for sale to the highest bidder. And in addition, they have a 3-point sprayer that's no longer needed or used, and they would like to sell that as well. So I do have in your packet Resolution 2019-66 declaring this property as excess and advertising it for sale.
Comments? Questions? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2019-66?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, second.
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7K, approve resolution 2019-67 approving campground improvement project.
So over the summer, Public Works installed new water lines, parking pads, and electric to 4 sites in the campground. That has been very well received. The Public Works Supervisor has obtained quotes for the installation of pads, water, and upgraded electric to the lake site. So that would be Site 1, which was by the public access, following the lake all the way to the point. A lot of these sites are unlevel. The utilities are located along the roadway, so when people come in, they can't back in because they can't reach the utilities. And some of the sites do get mushy due to the location by the lake. In fact, some have been underwater the last few days. And the electric is not 50 amps, so the 30 amp service, we're having issues with the breakers because I think the electric is very old there. So the total cost of the upgrade for all of the sites is estimated at $25,000. This would include approximately $17,000 for the electric work upgrading. It'll upgrade all the sites to 50 amps, so they'll have a 50 and a 30 and 110 service. Installation is required by an electrician, so that bid is an electrician. It takes you all the way through the inspection. That is an all-in cost. The water lines would be installed by Public Works and Public Utilities, and then they'd have installation of crushed asphalt pads by a local contractor with the proper equipment. The funds for the installation are available from current year campground revenues. The work is proposed to be completed once the campground closes for the season on September 30th. So what we're looking to do tonight is just to approve the campground updates to the campground as presented.
Questions? Comments? I think all the updates that have been happening down there so far have been really good. And we're gonna have a chance to make it even better by doing this, so. Do I have a motion to approve the updates to campground as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Heidi,
I'll second.
second by Joe. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7L, approve resolution 2019-68 authorizing solicitation of quotes, toolcat.
So during the budget cycle, the council discussed the possibility of purchasing some equipment in 2019 that would otherwise be delayed to 2020. This to be done if the current year budget allowed it, and only if we could fit it within our current budget. One of the pieces of equipment that's been heavily used and therefore has been costing the city repairs and maintenance above normal is the Bobcat Toolcat. Due to the cost to keep the equipment running, we're requesting approval to solicit quotes for the replacement of it with funding through the Parks Department. The current year budget for the Parks Department includes $15,000 for equipment and $28,000 for a vehicle. So we have $43,000 in the current year budget. Neither of these two budget items have been utilized this year. It's anticipated that with the trade of the old toolcat, a new toolcat can be purchased and stay within that budget. And so what we're looking to is approve Resolution 2019-68, authorizing the solicitation of quotes for the toolcat replacement, and then we'll have real numbers and we'll bring them back to you for final approval after that. So that's Resolution 2019-68.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2019-68?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane. Second?
Well, second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7M, approve Resolution 2019-69, authorizing solicitation of quotes.
The Airport Board, at its September 11th regular meeting, discussed the need for new snow removal equipment. The equipment is included on the airport's 20-year capital improvement plan. However, it's not been selected for funding by MnDOT Aeronautics. The Airport Board is recommending that the city purchase a tractor/snowblower/mower with existing funds of the airport outside the grant process, so the equipment would not be restricted for use at the airport only, which is what would happen if purchased with grant dollars. And the Parks Department then would share in that cost of the purchase through the trade-in of the existing New Holland tractor and the Ford tractor mower. So the Park Department would put up trade-in equipment, the Airport Board would put in cash, and they would share this piece of equipment. It is anticipated that the difference between the trade-in and the cost would be approximately $29,000. These funds are available in the airport fund, because funds that were transferred annually into the project fund for the runway project, we actually transferred more than we needed to. And so those funds will go back into the airport operating fund, and that would be the source of dollars for this purchase. So those excess funds will be available. And by structuring the purchase this way, all departments of the city would be able to use the equipment. And I do have Resolution 2019-69 authorizing the solicitation for quotes. The airport will mostly use it in the winter. We have to do more detailed snow blowing around the hangars and keeping the hangar doors open and keeping the runway, because we have pretty strict requirements to, we have streets, we kind of do 2 to 3 inches of snow. At the airport, you have to do it after 1 inch of snow. And then in the summer, then we would bring it into the Parks Department and use it, or the street department. So we're asking to authorize our solicitation of quotes, and that'll come back to the city council.
Comments? Questions? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2019-69, authorizing the solicitation of quotes for the tractor, the blower, and the mower?
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second.
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7N, approve Resolution 2019-70, amending condition on PUC garage demolition.
The Sauk Center Public Utility Commission previously obtained a variance allowing for the construction of a new warehouse on public property directly to the east of their existing office warehouse. The building's to be used as electric warehouse, replacing the existing one located between Birch and Pine. That's a building that's sitting kind of at an angle. Upon completion of the new, the utility was going to demolish the old building. Police Chief Brian Fredericks has requested that the city and utility allow him the use of that older building for the storage of forfeited vehicles. He's been researching and planning for an indoor or outdoor facility to store these forfeited vehicles, but is waiting for final word on the legislature on the future of the forfeiture statute. There's a possibility that the forfeiture process will be severely restricted or eliminated, and because of that, he'd like to wait until that future is known before expending any funds. So the Sauk Center Public Utility has met, and they've agreed to allow the use of the facility once they vacate it. The city would then need to delay the demolition requirement on the building, and so that is Resolution 2019-70. We amended the terms of the condition of their variance to allow the demolition to be delayed to 2 years from the date the new facility goes into service. And so that is what we're requesting to do tonight, is just to amend the terms of that so that we can use that building for a period of a couple of years until we know whether we're going to actually have to build one of our own. And I don't know if 2 years is the right number, but that's the way we had been requested.
We can always extend it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or if,
Questions?
well, my question is if he finds out that it's not going to be allowed and there's no use for it, can we at that point then?
Well, it can be demolished
demoed.
anytime prior to that. So,
Yeah, we're just,
we're just moving it out 2 years.
I'm hearing it as not any earlier than 2 years.
No, it's the other way
Not any
around. We're going to
longer
let
than
them,
2 years.
let it leave there for
Okay.
for at least, up till then.
Okay.
Then they're not going to be required to tear it down right away. They can wait.
Okay.
okay. Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2019-70, amending condition on resolution granting a variance to Sauk Center Public Utilities?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Joe, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7O, approve pay request 12, Breitbach Construction Company.
This is pay request 12. It has been received and signed off by the city engineer. The value completed to date by Breitbach is $2,693,831. We've previously paid $2,210.48, and then after reducing that by retainage, we have an amount due of this request of $349,091.64.
Questions? Comments? This is standard procedure when we're in the construction area, so. Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 12 to Breitbach Construction?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business. 8B, project update. Chuck?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. For a project update on the North Project, crews are out there this week. They're tolerancing the Class 5 on Country Club and Lakeshore. We're looking to pave the remaining base course on Phase 2 and the remaining wear course on Phase 1 Friday, and hopefully finish up this weekend, Saturday. I think it's going to take a couple days to do that. And then for the only remaining construction for 2019 is going to be topsoil installation and turf restoration. That'll hopefully happen next week, and by the end of next week, we're really looking at things winding down out there for activity. And so if you have any questions on the North Project, I can answer those, or I can go right into my Getty Street update.
Questions, comments? I'm still getting concerns about the quality of the black dirt that's going in the boulevards for the
Okay.
seeding, but, and I had talked to Keith about that before, so I don't
Okay.
know if he had mentioned anything, but a few people are concerned that it isn't good enough to grow grass in. so,
Sure. On Oak Street and Elm Street, or
On the whole
the whole
project,
project? Okay.
yeah, so.
So, we had some discussions with the contractor and some meetings, and they hit it with a fertilizer, kind of weed killer this fall. So hopefully that'll maybe take effect over the winter, and next spring maybe things will come back a little better. We do have a 1-year turf establishment period on the project too, so that's kind of their maintenance period. So if we need to reseed anything or add some fertilizer to help the topsoil, we can certainly do that.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to update on the Getty project?
Yeah, if
Not
you
too
want.
much, sure.
Yes, go ahead.
So we had our final walkthrough a couple weeks ago with Ben. Everything looked good and acceptable. Our retaining wall's done. We met with the contractor today just to get some final paperwork. We're waiting on collecting a couple IC-134s and lien waivers from the subs. So once we collect all that documents, we'll look to process a final pay request and kind of close that project out. So things are pretty much done up there.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. We have no new business. Brings us to our consent agenda. We'll have schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $519,748.47. Paid claims of $1,204.23. for a total of $520,952.70. And paid claims / payroll of $1,260,257.67. Is there any questions about the consent calendar? Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave,
I'll second.
second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items, so this brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Joe, seconded by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.